A group of trainees walked into JYP Entertainment's Elimination Survival show knowing they could lose everything, and not a single one was cut. 2 years later, the music industry told them self-produced idols couldn't compete with the polished machines of K-pop's biggest labels. By 2023, Stray Kids had sold over 10 million albums in a single year and headlined stadiums across 5 continents. So how did 8 guys, some of whom were rejected by other companies, one who barely spoke Korean, another who almost quit music entirely, built one of the most dominant acts in global pop from the ground up? The answer isn't luck, and it isn't just talent. Each member brought something specific to the table, a skill or a moment or a decision that shifted the entire trajectory of the group. Some of those moves were calculated, others were pure instinct, and a few were so unlikely that even the members themselves didn't see them coming. This is the story of 8 individual turning points, one from each member, that transformed Stray Kids from JYP's underdog experiment into a worldwide phenomenon. Let's get into it.
Number 8. The growth that built a fandom, IN. When JYP Entertainment assembled its 2017 Mnet Survival show to form a new boy group, young Jongin was the outlier. At 16, he was the youngest trainee in the room. He had spent roughly 1 year at JYP Entertainment, the shortest training period of any member on the show. While his older groupmates had been grinding through vocal lessons, choreography drills, and songwriting sessions for years, Jongin was still catching up. His technique was raw, his stage presence was still finding its shape. On paper, he was the member most likely to be left behind. But the survival show revealed something the numbers could not capture. The show's format gave JYP founder Park Jin-young the authority to eliminate trainees who fell short, and the process was unforgiving. 2 members were even temporarily cut during the run before being brought back into the fold. Through that entire gauntlet, Jongin, the youngest and least seasoned of the group, held his position. He was not carried by sympathy or group loyalty. Even in those early episodes, you could watch him absorbing corrections faster than expected, refining his pitch, sharpening his movement, and showing a competitive stubbornness that did not match his soft-spoken demeanor. He earned his seat at the table by proving he was on a steeper upward curve than anyone else in the room. That upward curve became one of the most effective fan engagement tools in Stray Kids' entire career. In the K-pop industry, fans do not simply follow talent, they follow trajectories. They invest in growth arcs the same way television audiences invest in characters across a long-running series. Jongin, who would debut under the stage name IN, derived from the final syllable of his Korean given name, gave Stay, the group's official fandom, one of the most satisfying development arcs in modern K-pop. Consider what fans witnessed during the group's debut era. When Stray Kids released their first mini-album I Am Not and its lead single District 9 in March 2018, followed by My Pace later that summer, IN carried the fewest lines of any member. His vocal tone was bright but thin, still lacking the control and weight needed to anchor a full section of a song. He was the member audiences noticed for his wide smile, his silver braces, which became unexpectedly iconic in fan communities, and his infectious energy during variety show segments. He was charming, he was likable, but musically he was still the apprentice watching the master's work. Then the shift began. Across 2019 and 2020, as Stray Kids moved through their Clay album series and into the Go Live era, IN's vocals started to change. Part of that was simply biology. His voice deepened naturally as he moved through his late teens. But the larger factor was discipline, relentless, methodical vocal training that expanded his range, stabilized his control, and gave him the kind of tonal richness that producers could actually build arrangements around. He was no longer receiving courtesy lines to justify his presence on a track. He was earning structural moments, melodic bridges, pre-choruses, emotional peaks, because the songs genuinely needed what his voice had become. The group's own production unit, 3 Racha, composed of Bang-chan, Changbin, and Han, was increasingly crafting vocal sections that leaned on IN's maturing tone, a signal that his growth was recognized not just by fans watching from the outside, but by the people building the music from the inside. The transformation was not subtle, and the internet made sure no one missed it. Fan-made compilation videos documenting IN's vocal evolution from 2018 to 2022 accumulated millions of views on YouTube. Side-by-side comparisons of his debut performances against his later work became some of the most shared Stray Kids content online. Fans who had followed the group since the survival show days felt a deeply personal stake in his development because they had been there from the very beginning. This is the kind of emotional investment that entertainment companies pour enormous budgets into trying to manufacture, and IN generated it organically, simply by getting better at what he did, one comeback at a time. His appearance on the SBS competition program The Fan in late 2018 marked another quietly significant moment. The show's format placed celebrities on stage in front of a panel of ordinary citizens who would decide, based solely on the performance, whether to become a fan. For a rookie idol barely 8 months into his career, representing a group that had not yet broken into mainstream Korean consciousness, the exposure carried genuine risk. Stray Kids at that point was still building its name. Their music, aggressive, bass-heavy, loaded with rap and experimental production, had already found passionate audiences in the United States, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Europe, but Korean domestic recognition was noticeably slower to arrive. Sending the youngest, least seasoned member onto national television could have backfired. Instead, IN delivered solo vocal performances that surprised viewers who had only encountered Stray Kids through their harder-edged title tracks. It was one of the earliest instances of a Stray Kids member receiving sustained solo exposure on a major Korean broadcast platform, and it introduced the group to a domestic audience that might never have searched for them otherwise. This matters because Stray Kids followed an unusual trajectory to fame. They built massive international followings before fully establishing themselves in South Korea. IN's IN show appearance was one of several early catalysts that helped plant the group's roots in their home market, roots that would steadily deepen as domestic popularity eventually caught up with their global momentum. There's also a structural element to IN's contribution that extends beyond vocals and television appearances. In K-pop group dynamics, the maknae, the youngest member, serves a specific narrative function.
The maknae is the one the older members protect, tease, coach, and celebrate. This dynamic is not decorative. It generates content, enormous amounts of it. Every interaction between IN and his hyungs, Bang-chan's instinctive protectiveness, Changbin's relentless ribbing, Lino's deadpan humor aimed squarely at the youngest, became raw material for fan edits, compilation videos, reaction clips, and social media posts that kept Stray Kids circulating in recommendation algorithms even during gaps between official comebacks. IN's personality made him the ideal anchor for this dynamic. Despite being the youngest, he was quick-witted, unafraid to push back against his older members, and naturally funny in a way that never felt scripted. He was not simply the baby of the group, he was the emotional center of their offstage identity, the member whose reactions and interactions generated a disproportionate share of the group's casual everyday content, the kind of content that converts passive listeners into committed, long-term fans. By the time Stray Kids entered their commercial peak in 2022 and 2023, with albums like Maxident and 5 Star, each selling millions of copies, and the group headlining sold-out stadium tours across multiple continents, IN was no longer the trainee playing catch-up. His vocal contributions on those records demonstrated a maturity and confidence that would have been unrecognizable to anyone who only knew him from the survival show footage. He had evolved from a passenger into a full creative contributor, and that evolution, visible, documentable, tracked in real time by millions of fans across the world, gave Stay something concrete to hold up when explaining their devotion to this group.
It was never just about the music or the choreography or the production quality. It was about watching someone become excellent right in front of your eyes, era by era, album by album, stage by stage. IN did not make Stray Kids famous by being the strongest vocalist in the room. He made them famous by turning his own improvement into a narrative that millions of people felt personally invested in following. But if you think a compelling growth arc alone is enough to sustain a global fanbase, wait until you hear what the next member brought to every single stage, something so quietly precise that most casual listeners never even realized it was holding the entire sound together.
Number 7. The Sonic Anchor, Seungmin. When Stray Kids debuted in 2018 with a sound that critics and casual listeners labeled as aggressive, chaotic, and experimental, they faced a unique musical challenge. Their songs, heavily driven by the self-producing trio 3RC, relied on intense industrial beats, rapid-fire rap delivery, and unconventional song structures that pushed the boundaries of traditional pop music. In a sonic landscape filled with sirens, heavy bass lines, and distorted synthesizers, it was incredibly easy for the music to lose its melodic shape and become overwhelming to the ear. The group needed a stabilizing force, a vocalist who could cut through the noise with absolute pitch accuracy and structural clarity, and Kim Seungmin became exactly that. Entering JYP Entertainment in 2017 after winning second place in the agency's highly competitive 13th Open audition, Seungmin brought a level of vocal discipline that would define the group's live performance identity. Securing a top spot at the competitive JYP Open audition required immense poise, which served him well during the 2017 survival show that determined the group's final lineup. JYP founder Park Jin-young noted his clean, unforced technique but challenged him to find his own artistic color. Seungmin responded not with flashy showmanship but with quiet, mechanical preparation, focusing on stabilizing his posture, strengthening his core, and matching the complex formations designed by the dance team without letting his breath falter. To survive the weekly evaluations on national television, he dedicated himself to mastering the mechanics of vocal projection and resonance shift, studying how to transition smoothly between his chest voice and head register without the typical cracking that plagues young performers under stress. While many idols rely heavily on pre-recorded backing tracks during physically demanding choreography, Stray Kids built their global reputation on the raw energy of live singing, a feat made possible by Seungmin's unwavering consistency. He developed a legendary work ethic within the industry, keeping detailed physical notebooks that fans and members refer to as his vocal diaries. In these pages, he systematically documents the daily condition of his vocal cords, specific techniques learned in lessons, air humidity levels, the effectiveness of throat sprays, and targeted feedback from coaches, maintaining this rigorous habit years after achieving global stardom. These notebooks represent an analytical breakdown of his instrument, mapping out how different acoustic environments affect his resonance. During grueling international tours, he is known to practice singing in hotel rooms using pillows to muffle his voice, ensuring he never misses a day of training while avoiding cold water, carbonated drinks, and ice during promotional periods to protect his vocal range. This mechanical dedication to his craft translates directly to the stage, where his chest-dominant vocal mix and clean diction provide the necessary grounding for the group's high-energy performances. Seungmin's early contribution to the group's global expansion also took a non-musical form when he was selected as a co-host for Arirang TV's After School Club in July 2018, just 4 months after his official debut. His brief elementary school studies in Los Angeles gave him the English proficiency needed to host the show, providing Stray Kids with direct access to overseas audiences during their rookie year. He used this platform to introduce his members, explain their self-produced music, and bridge the cultural gap with international viewers, laying the groundwork for the massive global fanbase that would eventually propel the group to the top of the charts. As the group's discography evolved, Seungmin's vocal role expanded from simply delivering solid choruses to driving the emotional narrative of their albums. In their 2018 track, Grow Up, his warm, reassuring tone comforted fans, while in their 2019 release, Levanter, a track that marked a significant stylistic shift toward a more melodic and introspective sound, his clear, resonant tone carried the emotional weight of the chorus, demonstrating that Stray Kids could deliver powerful vocal performances just as effectively as high-tempo dance tracks. In the complex recording process for their albums, the group's production team relies heavily on this technical adaptability. Producer Bong Chan has frequently noted that Seungmin is typically the first member called into the recording booth to lay down the guide vocals. Because his pitch is exceptionally reliable, his initial vocal tracks serve as a reliable reference point for the other 7 members to align their harmonies, ensuring that the final mix maintains musical coherence. His ability to deliver studio-quality vocals under intense physical strain became a major talking point in 2021 during Mnet's survival competition, Kingdom Legendary War. In a standout vocal unit performance of IU's Love Poem, Seungmin performed alongside established industry vocalists B2B's So Eunkwang and AT's Jong Ho. The pressure was immense, as he was representing Stray Kids' entire vocal line on a national stage against veteran vocalists known for their power and range. Rather than trying to out-sing them, Seungmin focused on technical precision, emotional control, and seamless harmonies. His performance was not merely competent, it was a revelation to viewers who had previously dismissed Stray Kids as a group focused solely on loud performance and rap.
He delivered a flawless, emotionally charged performance that earned widespread praise from vocal coaches and industry professionals, proving that the group possessed elite vocal talent capable of standing alongside the best in the industry. His solo capabilities were further validated when he appeared on the popular MBC music variety program King of Masked Singer in June 2019 under the alias Ink. His solo performances stripped away flashy production, earning praise from the celebrity judges for his mature control and proving he could command a stage entirely on his own merit. This breakthrough moment was followed by his first solo soundtrack release, Here Always, for the hit television drama Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha in October 2021. It became an instant global success, topping iTunes charts in over 30 countries and debuting at number 8 on the Billboard World Digital Song Sales chart, a rare achievement for a member of a group known primarily for its intense hip-hop style. This solo success demonstrated Seungmin's individual appeal and introduced a completely different demographic of music listeners, particularly drama fans, to the wider Stray Kids catalog. What makes his contributions so vital to their global success is the contrast he provides to the other members. In songs like Maniac or Thunderous, where the production features aggressive rap sections from Changbin and Han and deep, gravelly tones from Felix, Seungmin's clean, soaring vocals provide a refreshing melodic relief that prevents the track from becoming monotonous. He acts as the sonic glue that binds these disparate elements together, ensuring that even their most experimental tracks remain accessible and musically satisfying. His live vocal stability is achieved by running on a treadmill at high speeds while singing their entire concert setlist, building the lung capacity needed to deliver pitch-perfect lines under intense physical strain, while executing some of the most complex choreography in Kpop. In tracks like Cover Me from the 2023 album Rockstar, his high register belts in the bridge serve as the emotional climax of the song, illustrating how far his vocal power has developed since his debut. This dedication to live performance integrity has made Stray Kids a favorite among festival organizers, leading to historic headlining slots at major international events like Lollapalooza in Chicago and Paris, where Seungmin's clear vocals easily cut through stadium-sized outdoor venues. His journey from a quiet, determined trainee to the vocal backbone of a global stadium act is a testament to the power of methodical, continuous improvement. By focusing on technical precision and refusing to compromise on live vocal quality, he provided the sonic foundation that allowed Stray Kids to push their experimental musical style to their absolute limits without ever losing their balance. Yet while Seungmin was busy anchoring the group's musical foundations with his voice, another member was working behind the scenes to translate their chaotic energy into a visual language so sharp and synchronized that it would redefine the standards of modern performance.
Number 6. The Precision Engine, Lee No. In the high-stakes world of K-pop, synchronization is not just an aesthetic choice, it is a measure of group discipline. And Stray Kids' reputation as one of the most visually explosive performance acts on the planet is rooted in the technical standards set by Lee Min-ho. Before he ever set foot in JYP Entertainment as a trainee, Lee No had already built a professional career in the commercial dance industry. While his future groupmates were spending their teenage years inside practice rooms learning the basics of choreography, he was working as a professional backup dancer, touring internationally with global acts like BTS during their Wings tour in 2017, and performing on massive stadium stages in front of tens of thousands of people. During his time as a commercial dancer, he was subjected to grueling professional environments, such as performing in the Sub-Zero outdoor shoots for the Not Today music video, which taught him that in a professional production, there is no room for physical complaints or half-hearted effort. He brought this strict dancer's philosophy into the idol sphere, operating under the belief that every member of the group must maintain the mechanical precision of an elite backing dancer so that the collective performance never looks messy or uncoordinated. This real-world experience gave him an immediate, practical understanding of stage mechanics, projection, and the stamina required for large-scale performances. When he finally joined JYP Entertainment in July 2017, his training period was remarkably short, only about 4 months before he was thrust into the spotlight on the group's pre-debut survival show. This lack of formal agency training became a critical plot point in the 4th episode of the survival program when JYP founder Park Jin-young temporarily eliminated him from the lineup, citing a minor lyric mistake during a high-speed dance routine as evidence that he had not yet fully internalized the basic performance habits expected of a JYP artist. His sudden elimination was a severe test of the team's cohesion, triggering a massive wave of concern among viewers who had already noticed his quiet dedication. The emotional fallout was immediate, with group leader Bang Chan promising to never let him go, and this collective resistance to the agency's corporate elimination structure laid the foundation for the group's fierce independence. When JYP ultimately gave him a second chance in the final mission, it was because the group's internal synergy and physical formations were visibly compromised without his grounding presence. Upon the group's official debut in March 2018, Lee No quietly assumed the responsibility of the group's main dancer and unofficial dance leader. The task was monumental. Stray Kids choreography, designed by top-tier choreographers to match their aggressive, industrial music, is notoriously fast, complex, and physically exhausting, requiring constant level changes, floor work, and intricate formations. To make 8 individual dancers look like a single, cohesive unit, Lee No instituted a highly systematic approach to dance practices. In the studio, he became the meticulous editor of their movement, running sections of choreography repeatedly to clean up arm heights, head angles, foot placement, and spacing down to the exact frame. Other members have frequently noted that while their official choreographers teach them the steps, it is Lee No who translates those steps into a unified visual language, correcting their posture and timing with a professional dancer's eye. His own dancing style is characterized by extreme core strength, precise weight distribution, and an absolute control over his momentum, allowing him to stop on a dime, execute rapid isolations, and transition between fluid and sharp movements without any visible effort. This technical mastery is particularly evident in tracks like Double Knot, where his explosive footwork anchors the central formation, and Maniac, where his precise control over his center of gravity allows him to execute the track's signature mechanical movements with unsettling accuracy. However, Lee No's contribution to Stray Kids' worldwide popularity extends far beyond his physical capabilities in the dance studio. In a competitive industry where idols are often expected to maintain a polished, highly curated persona, his raw, unapologetic, and deadpan personality became an unexpected hit with international audiences. He developed a reputation for being refreshingly honest, frequently displaying a dry, sarcastic sense of humor and a pragmatic outlook on life that stood in stark contrast to typical idol tropes. Whether he was showing off his 3 adopted cats, Suni, Doonji, and Dory, sharing his passion for traditional cooking, or playfully teasing his members, his authentic off-stage character provided fans with a sense of genuine connection that felt entirely unscripted. This authenticity, combined with his striking visual features, made him a major driver of social media engagement, generating millions of views on fan-made compilation videos that showcased the contrast between his intense, professional stage presence and his eccentric, humorous daily life. Musically, Lee No also refused to be pigeonholed as merely a dancer. Recognizing that a global group requires versatile performers who can contribute across all disciplines, he dedicated himself to vocal training, steadily transforming his voice from a secondary resource into a reliable melodic asset. His vocal growth is documentable across their discography. In early tracks like District 9, his lines were minimal, but by the time the group released Levanter and the Experimental Side Effects in 2019, his clean, stable vocal tone was being utilized to anchor critical pre-chorus transitions. He developed a particularly strong falsetto, which producers began to exploit in tracks like Silent Cry and Boxer, adding a layer of melodic sweetness that contrasted effectively with the group's heavier rap sections. This vocal versatility was highlighted in the 2022 unit track Taste, performed alongside Hyunjin and Felix, where his smooth, mature vocal delivery proved he could carry a sophisticated, vocal-centric track just as easily as he could lead a high-intensity dance break. During their competitive run on Net's Kingdom, Legendary War in 2021, Lee No's technical authority was critical in orchestrating the high-risk acrobatics and complex set interactions for their theatrical stages, such as their mashup of God's Menu and Blackpink's DDU Do. He meticulously plotted the timing of their leaps, floor slides, and prop transitions, ensuring the physical safety of the members during these dangerous live stunts while maximizing the visual drama that ultimately won them the show's championship title. This domestic appeal was further consolidated when he was selected as a permanent MC for MBC's weekly music program show Music Core from August 2021 to November 2023, a high-profile broadcasting role that kept him in the public eye weekly and helped familiarize the domestic audience with his charming, sharp-witted personality. His leadership in the practice room bore historic fruit in 2023 and 2024, as Stray Kids began headlining major global music festivals, including Lollapalooza in Chicago and Paris, and BST Hyde Park in London. Performing in front of massive, non-K-pop audiences at these events required a level of raw performance energy and visual synchronization that could command an entire festival field. Under Lee No's choreographic guidance, the group delivered sets that were universally praised by mainstream music critics for their absolute precision and unrelenting stamina, solidifying their status as elite global performers who do not need the controlled environment of a television studio to deliver a flawless show. His transition from a backup dancer standing in the shadows of stadium stages to the central figure directing the performance identity of one of the world's biggest groups is a masterclass in professional discipline. By demanding absolute technical excellence from himself and his members, he ensured that Stray Kids' physical performances would always match the boundary-pushing energy of their self-produced music. Yet, while Lee No was busy engineering the group's physical precision behind the closed doors of the practice room, another member was about to unleash a raw, theatrical energy on stage that would capture the attention of the fashion and music worlds alike, transforming their choreography into high art. Number 5. The dramatic catalyst, Hyunjin. In an industry saturated with highly skilled dancers, it is exceedingly rare to find a performer who can elevate choreography into the realm of raw, theatrical storytelling, and Hwang Hyunjin became the visual and dramatic anchor that defined Stray Kids' stage identity. Yet, his position as one of K-pop's elite performers was not handed to him. It was the result of a stubborn refusal to be defined by his natural appearance. Casted on the street by a JYP scout while shopping with his mother, Hyunjin entered the agency with zero prior training in dance or music. In his early trainee days, he was frequently told by peers and staff that his striking visuals would ensure his debut regardless of his technical ability. Rather than taking this as a compliment, Hyunjin found the label of being just a visual deeply insulting. He vowed to prove his critics wrong, throwing himself into dance training with an intensity that shocked his fellow trainees. During his development years, group leader Bang Chan played a pivotal role in directing Hyunjin's intense creative energy, providing him with early opportunities to experiment with choreography and vocal styling, and fostering an environment of trust that allowed him to push past his physical limits without fear of failure. He enrolled in the practical dance department at the prestigious School of Performing Arts Seoul, SOPA, to study contemporary dance, hip-hop, and urban styles, routinely staying in the JYP practice rooms until 3 or 4 in the morning. He literally rebuilt his body mechanics from scratch, training himself to control every minor muscle group to achieve the speed, fluidity, and explosive power required for professional choreography. By the time of the group's debut, he had transformed himself into a main dancer whose style was defined not just by technical execution, but by a dramatic, expressive energy that made it impossible to look away from him. This artistic evolution reached a global flashpoint in June 2020 with the release of the group's breakthrough single God's Menu. While the track itself redefined Stray Kids' musical direction, Hyunjin's performance became the visual symbol of the era. Sporting long, bleached blonde hair tied back, he delivered a series of sharp, theatrical movements and intense facial expressions that went viral across social media platforms. In God's Menu, his performance was characterized by a rapid modulation of facial expressions, shifting from a playful smirk to a cold, predatory stare in a fraction of a second. This expression control, paired with his sharp, whip-like hand gestures mimicking a chef slicing ingredients, became a reference point for trainees across the industry who sought to understand how to blend acting with athletic movement. His execution of the track's iconic Do 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 section, combined with his charismatic gaze, generated a massive wave of internet memes and reaction videos, serving as a primary entry point for millions of new fans into the Stray Kids ecosystem. Fancams focusing solely on his performances during this promotion cycle accumulated millions of views on YouTube and TikTok, demonstrating that his individual stage presence possessed a unique commercial pull that could convert casual viewers into dedicated fans. His status as a premier performer was globally cemented in October 2021 when the digital platform studio Chum selected him as their Artist of the Month. For this showcase, Hyunjin collaborated on a performance of Post Malone's Motley Crue, blending contemporary style with sharp street dance dynamics. The performance was a masterclass in tension and release, featuring complex isolations, floor work, and a dark, cinematic narrative that highlighted his ability to act through dance. The video broke platform records, surpassing 10 million views faster than any previous entry in the series, and it remains the most watched performance in the history of the channel. This milestone proved to the wider music industry that Hyunjin's skills were not merely the product of clever camera angles or group formations, but the output of a genuinely elite soloist capable of commanding global attention. His artistic influence soon spilled over into the international fashion industry, where his unique visual identity caught the attention of luxury design houses. In July 2023, Donatella Versace officially announced Hyunjin as the first Korean global brand ambassador for the Italian luxury house Versace. Donatella Versace herself publicly noted that she was drawn to his confidence, artistic freedom, and the infectious energy he projected, selecting him to star in the brand's global holiday campaign. This collaboration did not just involve photo shoots, it was a deep alignment of aesthetics, where his personal style influenced the brand's presentation of modern masculinity. The partnership was a historic moment, positioning him at the intersection of music and high fashion. His appearances at major events, such as the Versace La Vacanza fashion show in Cannes and Milan Fashion Week, generated massive global media coverage and millions of dollars in earned media value, EMV, for the brand, placing Stray Kids in elite international cultural spaces alongside Hollywood actors and fashion icons. This commercial power elevated the entire group's global profile, proving they were not just musical performers but style icons of international significance. Beyond his dance and fashion activities, Hyunjin's creative output includes visual art and songwriting, reflecting a deep, multi-dimensional artistic drive. In his spare time, he is an avid painter, frequently sharing his complex oil and acrylic canvas works on social media, demonstrating a sensitive artistic temperament that directly informs his physical performances on stage. His personal hobby of painting on large canvases, drawing inspiration from classic impressionism and abstract expressionism, has also influenced his approach to music videos and stage styling. He conceptualizes performance as a visual canvas, focusing on how color, lighting, and clothing movement interact with his body lines to create a striking picture. Musically, he has contributed significant compositions to the group's catalog. He co-wrote and performed Red Lights with Bang Chan, a dramatic, synth-heavy track that became one of the most successful B-sides in the group's history, and composed solo tracks like Love Untold and Contradicting, showcasing his ability to write emotional, melodic hooks that resonate with global audiences. This dramatic sensibility was fully realized during their world tours, most notably in the live performances of Red Lights. On stage, Hyunjin and Bang Chan performed a highly choreographed piece using red fabric bonds to symbolize internal struggle and obsession, a performance that combined elements of contemporary dance and physical theater. The staging was so visually arresting and emotionally charged that clips of the performance went viral internationally, generating massive online discourse and demonstrating the group's ability to tackle mature, complex themes through abstract movement. What makes his stage presence so vital to Stray Kids' global appeal is his ability to embody the specific mood of a song, transitioning from the frantic, mechanical movements of Maniac to the fierce, traditional pride of Thunderous with absolute narrative conviction. He does not simply execute choreographic steps, he acts them, using his facial expressions, head tilts, and body lines to communicate the underlying emotion of the music. This theatrical approach to dancing has redefined how fans consume K-pop performances, turning his individual fan cams into standalone pieces of digital art that continue to circulate globally, keeping the group at the forefront of the music conversation. His journey from an untrained street-casted youth who was told he would succeed on looks alone to an internationally recognized performance icon and luxury brand ambassador is a testament to the power of artistic discipline. By refusing to take the easy path and dedicating himself to mastering the physical and emotional nuances of dance, he provided the group with the dramatic visual identity needed to capture the global imagination. Yet, while Hyunjin was busy captivating audiences with his visual drama on stage, another member was preparing to drop a vocal frequency so unexpectedly deep and resonant that it would instantly solidify the group's musical signature on the global stage. Number 4, the sonic signature, Felix. In a musical genre historically dominated by high-tenor male vocals and bright, polished pop production, the arrival of Lee Felix shifted the acoustic standards of K-pop, introducing a deep bass baritone frequency that would become Stray Kids' most recognizable global calling card. Born and raised in Sydney, Australia, Felix faced a steep uphill battle when he moved to South Korea after being scouted by JYP Entertainment. Arriving in Seoul with no functional knowledge of the Korean language, he spent his first months memorizing vocabulary lists on his daily subway commutes, practicing phonetic pronunciation by repeating lines from Korean dramas, and relying on Bang Chan's real-time translations during dance and vocal evaluations. This language barrier placed an immense psychological strain on the young trainee, who had to process complex performance feedback while simultaneously translating it in his head. This linguistic barrier became his undoing during the 2017 survival show when JYP founder Park Jin-young eliminated him in the 8th episode, stating that his limited Korean vocabulary and pronunciation made his rap delivery sound detached and hindered his ability to communicate with the audience. The emotional weight of his elimination in episode 8 was amplified by the raw camera footage capturing the members' immediate refusal to accept the corporate decision. Bang Chan's tearful promise to Felix, whispering that he would always find him and never leave him behind, became the emotional anchor of the group's pre-debut narrative. This moment of authentic solidarity defined the group's unified mentality, convincing the international audience that this was a self-determined family rather than a manufactured idol product. When Felix was reinstated in the final episode alongside Lee No, the public felt a personal victory. Upon debut, the production team, 3 Racha, realized they possessed a unique sonic weapon in Felix's vocal range. His voice was a stark, fascinating contrast to his physical appearance, which featured soft, delicate, freckled visual traits. This vocal-visual juxtaposition became a key element of the group's global appeal, reaching a massive turning point in June 2020 with the release of God's Menu. Felix's opening verse in the bridge, delivering the line "Cooking like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin" in a sub-bass register that registered as a literal vibration in the listener's ears, went massively viral across the internet. During the recording session for God's Menu, producer Bang Chan was so startled by the depth of Felix's raw vocals that he restructured the track's audio mixing. The production team had to temporarily empty the lower mid-range frequencies of the instrumental track to prevent the heavy brass and percussion from masking the unique resonance of Felix's voice, creating a new production template where songs were deliberately designed to spotlight these sub-bass frequencies. During the promotions for God's Menu, his visual styling, featuring silver blonde hair, face glitter, and sharp eyeliner, complemented his vocal delivery, creating a highly cinematic aesthetic that became an instant internet sensation. The precise camera angles focusing on his direct gaze during the Michelin line created a visual loop that dominated social media feeds, transforming a single line into a permanent cultural phenomenon within the K-pop community. The clip dominated TikTok and YouTube compilation videos, drawing in millions of listeners who had never previously paid attention to K-pop. This line became the definitive killing part of the group's discography, establishing a formula where Felix's deep vocal entrances were used as structural anchors to disrupt the energy of their tracks and command immediate listener focus. His physical training in Australia, which included third-degree black belt mastery in Taekwondo and competitive soccer, gave Felix the exceptional leg strength and low center of gravity stability necessary to execute the group's most athletic choreography. During the complex formations of S-Class, his martial arts training allows him to execute sharp, low-to-the-ground sweeps and sudden pivots with a level of physical control that elevates the visual impact of the group's dancing. In tracks like Victory Song and Double Knot, his ability to execute high-impact jumps and low-angle stances with absolute control adds a layer of raw physical power that matches the aggressive energy of the music. This sonic branding was replicated with massive success in subsequent hits like Maniac, where his deep-voiced introduction set the dark tone for the entire song, and La 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 La, cementing his voice as the group's signature instrument. His global influence quickly transcended the music industry, capturing the attention of the high-fashion world. In August 2023, Nicolas Gasquire, the artistic director of women's collections at Louis Vuitton, officially announced Felix as a global brand ambassador for the luxury house. His impact in this space was solidified in March 2024 when he walked the runway at Paris Fashion Week for Louis Vuitton's fall-winter women's collection, a historic crossover that made him one of the few male K-pop stars to walk a major luxury brand's primary runway show. His presence at fashion weeks in Paris, Seoul, and Milan generated astronomical earned media value, EMV, placing Stray Kids at the center of the global fashion narrative. However, Felix's international popularity is not solely built on vocals and fashion, it is deeply rooted in his philanthropic character, which has earned him widespread respect. In January 2024, he became the youngest member ever inducted into the UNICEF Honors Club after donating 100 million Korean won to assist children in Laos who were suffering from poor sanitation and stunted growth. He personally traveled to Laos during his official vacation time, quietly volunteering on the ground to distribute aid and interact with the local communities, avoiding media fanfare to focus purely on the charity work. During his stay in Laos, he volunteered in schools, helped build clean water systems, and assisted with child nutrition programs, working directly under the radar without personal videographers or PR teams. This quiet dedication inspired the global Stay fandom to launch parallel fundraising campaigns in his honor, raising tens of thousands of dollars for UNICEF and demonstrating how the group's moral character could mobilize positive global action. This approachable, warm personality is famously exemplified by his domestic hobby of baking. Felix is known within the industry for baking hundreds of chocolate brownies during promotional periods, personally packaging them, and hand-delivering them to broadcast staff, backup dancers, and competing artists. This small, consistent gesture generated immense goodwill within the tight-knit K-pop community, establishing Stray Kids' reputation as one of the most humble and pleasant groups to work with in the entire entertainment industry. This demonstration of genuine altruism, combined with his public registration as an organ donor, has endeared him to a global audience that values authenticity and social responsibility, elevating him from a pop idol into a respected global role model. His native English fluency has also made him the group's primary communicator for international media, allowing him to represent Stray Kids on global stages like the Met Gala in New York, where they made history as the first entire K-pop group to attend the prestigious fashion event together. His ability to connect with international fans in their own language, combined with his warm, gentle demeanor, has acted as a bridge that makes the group feel accessible and grounded despite their stadium-level fame. What Felix brought to Stray Kids was not just a deep voice, but a global identity that unified their visual, sonic, and moral brand. By turning his early struggles with language and elimination into a source of determination, he developed a unique artistic niche that redefined how K-pop songs are structured and how global audiences connect with South Korean music. Yet, while Felix was busy grounding their music with his deep sub-bass frequencies and capturing the fashion world, another member was weaponizing a frantic, hyper-versatile musical genius. A songwriter who could compose stadium-sized hooks in his sleep and spit fire-velocity rap verses in the next breath. Number 3. The lyrical engine, Han. In the vocabulary of K-pop, the term all-rounder is frequently used to describe any performer who can manage basic vocals and rap, but Han Ji-sung redefined the absolute limits of the term, operating as a main rapper, a high-note vocalist, and one of the most prolific songwriters of his generation. His journey to the stage began with a high-stakes compromise. Having spent much of his childhood living and studying in Malaysia, Han returned to South Korea with a strict one-year deadline from his parents. If he did not secure a contract with an entertainment agency within 12 months, he would have to return to Malaysia and abandon his musical aspirations. His entry into JYP Entertainment was a matter of pure chance. He accompanied a friend to an audition simply to support him, only to be noticed by the scouts himself. Han had initially accompanied his friend to the audition location with no intention of participating himself. When his friend suggested they audition together, Han, who was just waiting in the hallway, decided on a whim to perform a self-written rap verse. The casting directors were instantly captivated by his natural sense of rhythm, vocal projection, and raw confidence, leading to a classic scenario where the bystander became the trainee while his friend was unfortunately rejected. He passed the auditions, joined the agency, and immediately gravitated toward fellow trainees Bang Chan and Seo Changbin. Under the moniker J.1, he became the third member of 3 Racha, the underground hip-hop unit that would lay the creative foundations for Stray Kids. During the pre-debut era of 3 Racha, Han worked alongside Bang Chan and Changbin, downloading free instrumentals from the internet, writing lyrics on their phones, and uploading raw tracks to SoundCloud under the name J.1. This underground hip-hop training ground, free from commercial agency constraints, allowed him to experiment with diverse rhythmic patterns, metaphors, and punchlines, developing a sharp, spontaneous writing style that would define the group's early identity. From the very beginning, Han's primary weapon was his speed, not just in his rapid-fire rap delivery, which can exceed 9 syllables per second, but in his cognitive speed as a composer. He developed a reputation within the agency for writing complete, emotionally resonant songs in a matter of hours. During a busy promotional schedule in 2019, Han wrote the entire lyrics and melody for the introspective B-side Sunshine in just 2 hours while sitting in the back of a moving car, seeking an escape from the chaotic pace of his daily life. The song was a direct, therapeutic attempt to quiet his own racing thoughts, with the lyrics urging himself to step away from his screens, look out the window at the sunshine, and breathe. Having received no formal vocal training before entering the agency, he developed his powerful belting technique simply by mimicking the rock and pop vocalists he admired. This self-taught method resulted in a highly adaptive vocal placement, allowing him to transition from a deep, rhythmic chest voice in his rap sections to a soaring, resonance-heavy head register in the chorus without losing vocal stability or pitch center. This speed did not compromise the quality of his output. His composition Slump, a rock-infused track that explored the crushing fear of falling behind others, was selected as the ending theme for the globally popular anime adaptation of Tower of God in 2020. When composing Slump for the Tower of God soundtrack, Han drew direct thematic parallels between the anime's main characters, who struggle with betrayal and abandonment, and his own personal anxieties as a trainee who constantly feared being left behind by his peers. This deep thematic integration is what made the track resonate so powerfully with anime audiences globally, as it felt like an authentic extension of the story rather than a generic promotional song. The track, recorded in Korean, Japanese, and English, charted on the Billboard World Digital Song Sales Chart and introduced Stray Kids to a massive global anime subculture, a demographic that normally remained outside the traditional K-pop market. What makes Han's musical contribution so vital is his ability to bridge the gap between aggressive hip-hop and soaring vocal melodies. While he anchors the group's rap line alongside Changbin, he is frequently called upon to deliver the group's most challenging vocal sections. During the production of their pre-debut track Elevator, Han recorded the original guide vocals in a female key, and his range was so exceptionally high that he ended up singing the track's main vocal hook himself because the official vocalists were still developing the register needed to hit those notes. This vocal versatility was showcased on a national stage during NET's 2021 competition show Kingdom, Legendary War when Stray Kids performed a cover of Taub's I'll Be Your Man. In a performance widely cited as a turning point in the competition, Han delivered the song's climatic, high-register vocal belt while simultaneously executing complex rap verses, a double-duty performance that stunned the judges and established him as one of the most musically capable idols in the industry. However, Han's impact on the group's international success is also deeply rooted in his personal vulnerability. In December 2019, JYP Entertainment announced that Han was experiencing severe social anxiety and would temporarily step back from certain public events and fan meetings. In an industry where mental health struggles are often kept hidden to preserve a perfect public image, his open battle with anxiety was a watershed moment. Rather than hiding his condition, Han channeled his psychological struggles directly into his music, writing tracks like Another Day and Leave that addressed the quiet isolation of modern life, the panic of facing a new day, and the exhaustion of trying to meet societal expectations. This raw, unfiltered lyricism resonated powerfully with international fans, particularly youth audiences who were navigating similar mental health challenges in their own lives. By speaking openly about his vulnerability through his art, Han transformed Stray Kids from a standard pop act into a source of genuine emotional comfort for millions of listeners worldwide, creating an intense, fiercely loyal bond with the fanbase. In his solo work released on the group's SKZ record platform, Han explored these psychological themes even further. In Alien, he utilized the metaphor of an extraterrestrial lost on Earth to describe his feelings of social isolation and displacement, while in Wish You Back, he wrote a melodic tribute to the concept of reunion inspired by the Japanese animated masterpiece Your Name. These solo tracks, though not promoted on television, accumulated tens of millions of streams, acting as an emotional sanctuary for global fans. His creative output is staggeringly diverse, ranging from the frantic hip-hop energy of I Got It to the warm, acoustic nostalgia of Wish You Back. In the studio, his recording sessions are notoriously efficient. He often records his rap and vocal tracks in a single take, displaying a natural pitch and rhythmic control that allows the production team to keep their studio schedules remarkably tight. This technical precision makes him a favorite in the studio, where producer Bang Chan often allows him to self-direct his recording sessions. Han's ability to maintain clear pronunciation and precise rhythmic alignment at tempos exceeding 120 beats per minute significantly reduces production times, allowing the group to maintain a massive creative output of multiple albums per year. His native-level English skills, refined during his years in Malaysia, also made him a crucial asset during their global promotions, enabling him to articulate the group's creative philosophy in international interviews and podcasts. Han did not make Stray Kids famous by simply fitting into the idol mold. He did it by breaking it entirely, proving that a single artist could be both a high-speed rapper and a soaring vocalist while writing the very songs that kept the group at the top of the global charts. Yet, while Han was busy infusing their music with his frantic, versatile genius and emotional vulnerability, another member was weaponizing a dense, physical lyrical weight, a rapper whose aggressive, thunderous delivery established the very blueprint of Stray Kids' musical identity. Number 2, the lyrical powerhouse, Changbin. In a musical landscape where rap sections in pop groups are frequently relegated to decorative, slow-tempo bridges or simple rhythmic fillers, Changbin transformed the art of K-pop rap into a high-velocity, percussive engine that defined the aggressive mala-taste sonic blueprint of Stray Kids. From his very first steps in the industry, Changbin was determined to establish a distinct, uncompromising hip-hop identity. Raised in a comfortable household where his parents initially pushed him to pursue academic success and traditional careers, he faced significant domestic resistance when he chose to focus on rap music. His mother was so opposed to his musical dreams that when he won a local rap competition in middle school, she hid his certificate and discarded his notebook containing early lyrics, hoping he would abandon his hobbies and focus on his school examinations. Rather than giving up, Changbin began writing his verses in secret on his phone under his blankets late at night, an early struggle against parental expectations that infused his early raps with a raw, desperate, and survival-like intensity. He convinced his parents to let him audition for entertainment agencies, eventually passing the JYP evaluations with his raw, self-written verses. He soon joined Bang Chan and Han to form the underground production team 3 Racha, writing under the stage name Spurb. Working in their small studio during the pre-debut era, Changbin developed a highly sophisticated approach to Korean lyricism, utilizing complex homophones, double entendres, and internal rhymes. In tracks like Matryoshka, he compared his layered inner self to a Russian nesting doll, demonstrating a conceptual depth that went far beyond typical idol lyric writing. He mastered the art of rhythmic pacing, learning how to speed up his delivery to create tension and then slow down to let a punchline hit with maximum impact. It was during this pre-debut period that Changbin's signature style crystallized, a dark, gravelly, high-impact rap delivery characterized by rapid-fire double-time flows, sharp rhythmic shifts, and an explosive vocal tone that cut clean through heavy industrial beats. This stylistic choice became the saving grace of the group's pre-debut evaluations. During the 2017 Survival show, when JYP founder Park Jin-young reviewed the group's self-composed track Elevator, he explicitly noted that Changbin's opening rap verse was the critical element that gave the song its dark, compelling color, effectively preventing the track from sounding like a generic pop release. Group leader Bang Chan had specifically recruited Changbin into the pre-debut lineup precisely because he knew that a group with such a powerful, aggressive rapper could build a distinct musical identity that other companies could not easily replicate. Park recognized that Changbin's gritty, aggressive delivery gave the group a defined musical direction that set them apart from their contemporaries, establishing a musical precedent that Stray Kids would follow for the rest of their career. This sonic identity became the primary catalyst for their international breakout. In tracks like District 9 and God's Menu, it is Changbin's voice that sets the physical momentum of the song, delivering verses with a punchy, staccato cadence that generates an immediate sense of urgency. To validate his skills outside the protective bubble of the idol industry, Changbin made the bold decision to participate in Net's mainstream hip-hop competition show Show Me the Money 9 in 2020. The show is notorious for its harsh treatment of idol rappers, who are often dismissed by underground hip-hop artists as manufactured and untalented. When he stepped in front of the judges for Show Me the Money 9, the atmosphere in the warehouse was visibly tense, with several underground contestants expressing skepticism toward an idol group rapper. Changbin silenced the room by delivering a raw, boom-bap verse with absolute breath control and projecting his voice without a microphone, demonstrating a level of performance confidence that commanded immediate respect. Although his participation was brief, Changbin delivered a powerful, self-assured audition rap that earned passing marks from veteran producers like Just His, proving that his technical control and flow were capable of standing up to mainstream hip-hop scrutiny. The video of his audition quickly went viral online, accumulating millions of views and triggering a significant shift in how mainstream K-pop listeners perceived idol rappers. Underground hip-hop fans, who normally ignored idol music, began exploring Stray Kids' discography, praising Changbin's rhythm and flow on their pre-debut mixtapes and acknowledging his legitimate credentials as a hip-hop artist. This appearance sent a clear message to global audiences. Stray Kids' rap line was not a corporate construct, but a group of genuine hip-hop artists who wrote their own material and possessed the technical skills to back it up. Yet, while Changbin is celebrated for his aggressive, high-energy delivery, his contribution to the group's global appeal is also defined by his deep emotional maturity and vocal versatility. In May 2020, he released the self-composed solo track Streetlight through the group's SKZ player platform, featuring vocals from teammate Bang Chan. The song is a poignant, metaphorical exploration of internal emotional struggle, comparing himself to a streetlight that stands alone in the dark, shining brightly to illuminate the path for others while suffering from emotional burnout and loneliness in silence. The track revealed a highly sensitive, introspective writer who was willing to drop the tough rapper persona to address the psychological pressures of fame and the human need for emotional support. This emotional vulnerability was further demonstrated in June 2020 when he appeared on MBC's King of Masked Singer under the alias Taekwon V. Stripping away his rap identity entirely, he delivered a smooth, warm, and highly controlled vocal performance of emotional ballads that surprised both the judges and the public, proving that his musicality extended far beyond fast rapping. On and off the stage, Changbin serves as a critical structural pillar for the group. He is the member who often sets the energy during recordings, pushing his groupmates to deliver their lines with maximum physical weight and attitude. His distinct vocal phrasing, characterized by his signature raspy shout introductions and percussive vocalizations, became a recurring motif in their music, providing a familiar anchor that fans could instantly recognize. This creative authority expanded as he began co-producing the group's major title tracks, such as Thunderous and S-Class, alongside his three Ratcha partners. In the production booth, Changbin is known for advocating for heavy, syncopated bass lines and sudden, dramatic pauses in the beat that mimic the breath control of a live rapper, ensuring the instrumentation remains structurally dynamic. His dedication to maintaining a muscular, athletic physique, which inspired the affectionate fan mascot Dwayki, a character that became a highly profitable merchandise brand generating substantial revenue through plush toys sold at global pop-up stores, is also a practical asset. His physical core strength allows him to support his diaphragm during intense live performances, delivering clear, high-volume lines without relying on a head mix backing track. His presence in the production studio alongside Bang Chan and Han ensures that even as Stray Kids' music evolves toward more mainstream pop registers, it never loses the raw, rebellious hip-hop edge that attracted their core global audience in the first place. He acts as the custodian of their heavy, aggressive sound, refusing to compromise on the rhythmic density and lyrical intensity that made them famous. His journey from a teenager fighting for the right to pursue hip-hop to the primary rap architect of a global stadium act is a testament to the power of artistic conviction. By establishing a dark, aggressive rap blueprint and defending it across every album, he gave Stray Kids the sonic backbone needed to stand out in a crowded global market. Yet, while Changbin was busy infusing their music with this dense, physical lyrical weight and setting the sonic boundaries of their hip-hop identity, another member was quietly laying down the ultimate foundation. The mastermind who scouted every single member, produced the tracks, and took the full weight of their global destiny onto his shoulders. Number 1. The ultimate architect, Bang Chan. In the highly structured, corporate machinery of the South Korean music industry, K-pop groups are almost universally assembled by committees of executive directors, casting agents, and marketing teams who select trainees based on commercial viability. Bang Chan shattered this industry-defining convention. Born in South Korea but raised in Sydney, Australia, he entered JYP Entertainment in 2010 after passing a local audition. His childhood in Australia had also equipped him with a high level of physical resilience. He was a competitive swimmer throughout his school years, winning multiple regional medals and developing the physical stamina and lung capacity that would later enable him to endure the physical strain of 7 years of trainee evaluations and endless studio sessions. His selection in 2010 was a testament to his versatility. During the JYP Global auditions in Australia, a young Bang Chan competed against over 800 candidates, winning them over by playing his own classical piano arrangements, singing acoustic guitar covers, and demonstrating a natural physical agility in dance. His path to debut was extraordinarily long and emotionally demanding. He spent 7 years as a trainee, watching his close friends and peers debut in groups like GOT7, Day 6, and Twice while he remained in the practice rooms. During these years, he practiced alongside future superstars, witnessing classmates like GOT7's Bam Bam, Twice's Jihyo, and Day 6's Young K complete their training and debut on national television. Instead of letting this fuel resentment, he closely analyzed their paths to success, learning how GOT7 projected charisma, how Twice maintained their visual appeal, and how Day 6 managed their live instrumentals. He integrated these observations into his own training, preparing himself to lead a team that would synthesize these different commercial strengths. Rather than allowing this prolonged wait to break his resolve, he used these 7 years to master every aspect of the music-making process, learning production, music theory, arrangement, and audio engineering. Recognizing his exceptional dedication and mature artistic vision, JYP founder Park Jin-young took a historic gamble. He bypassed the agency's traditional casting department and gave Bang Chan the unprecedented authority to personally select the trainees he wanted to form his own group. This was a revolutionary departure from K-pop standards. Bang Chan did not hold a corporate casting call. He built a group based on mutual trust, shared work ethic, and specific complementary talents. He hand-picked Han and Changbin to form the production core, recruited Lee No for his technical performance precision, chose Hyunjin for his theatrical stage energy, selected Seungmin for his stable vocal foundation, broadened Felix for his contrasting low vocal register, and added I.N for his steep growth potential. When Park Jin-young temporarily eliminated Lee No and Felix during the survival show, proposing a final lineup of 7, Bang Chan refused to compromise his vision. He took the enormous professional risk of challenging the agency's management, demanding that the final live evaluation include all 9 members, and committing to make the formations flawless. This gamble paid off, as the sheer quality of the 9-member performance forced the agency to yield to his lineup. Because the group was built by their own leader rather than a corporate boardroom, Stray Kids possessed an organic chemistry and a shared sense of ownership that translated directly into their explosive performance energy and unified stage presence. As the leader of both the group and their self-producing Unit 3 Ratcha, working under the name CB97, Bang Chan took the entire creative and structural weight of the group's career onto his own shoulders. He spent endless nights inside the JYP production studios, often working through the night after grueling choreography practices, to compose, arrange, and mix the tracks that would define their sound. Inside his personal workspace, known as CB97 Studio, he works extensively with Logic Pro to arrange their tracks, layering multiple tracks of vocals, synthesizers, and percussion. In the earliest days of 3 Ratcha, Before JYP provided them with professional gear, he and his production partners worked on a single laptop in their small dormitory, using a cheap microphone and a makeshift pop filter made of wire hangers to record their mixtape guides. His production signature is defined by its hybrid complexity, such as his decision in Thunderous to blend traditional Korean wind and string instruments, like the brassy taepyeongso and the stringed gaejeum, with heavy modern 808 basslines and brass hits. This fusion created a distinct sound that critics termed traditional industrial pop, a genre that had never been successfully executed in K-pop. He took the polarizing reviews of their early noise music and refined it into a commercially viable, stadium-sized aesthetic, creating the complex arrangements for hits like God's Menu, Thunderous, and Maniac. His decisive authority was highlighted in 2020 during the preparation for their Geo live album. The group had already finalized a different lead single, but after 3 Racha composed God's Menu, Bang Chan felt so strongly about its potential that he bypassed JYP's marketing schedule, presented the new track directly to the executives, and successfully argued to scrap the original title track. This last-minute pivot saved the group's career, giving them the viral masterpiece that ultimately established their global legacy. His production style is characterized by a high-energy fusion of rock instrumentation, heavy EDM synthesizers, and intricate hip-hop rhythm tracks, always mixed to highlight the specific vocal and rap strengths of the members he had chosen. Beyond his production work, Bang Chan established a new paradigm for fan communication through his weekly live broadcast series, Chan's Room. Starting in 2019 and running for over 200 episodes, this broadcast became a global cultural hub for the fandom. Sitting in his studio or hotel rooms during tours, he spoke directly to fans in both English and Korean, played a wide variety of music, offered psychological advice, and discussed the human struggles behind the idol curtain. He used this direct broadcasting channel to break down the highly competitive divisions within the K-pop community, actively playing and praising music by artists from rival agencies, including BTS, 17, and various Western musicians. This inclusive approach turned his broadcasts into a safe, neutral space for all music fans, transforming his personal stream into a global trending topic every weekend and quietly converting viewers of other groups into Stray Kids supporters. This weekly commitment built an exceptionally strong bond of trust and mutual respect between the group and their international audience, turning casual listeners into a highly mobilized global community. His leadership style on and off the stage is characterized by self-sacrifice and protective responsibility. During live performances, he frequently positions himself on the edges or at the back of choreographic formations to allow his members to occupy the spotlight, and in interviews, he acts as the primary translator and spokesperson, shielding his members from criticism and taking personal responsibility for any group mistakes. This role was on full display in May 2024 at the Met Gala in New York, where Tommy Hilfiger invited the entire group as representatives. Bang Chan navigated the chaotic red carpet as their primary translator and media guide, directing their poses and answering complex fashion questions under the flash of hundreds of international cameras, ensuring his members remained comfortable and confident. When Stray Kids made history in 2024 by headlining major international festivals like Lollapalooza in Chicago and BST Hyde Park in London, it was the realization of the vision Bang Chan had mapped out during his long years as a lonely trainee in Seoul. He proved to a skeptical music industry that a self-assembled, self-produced idol group could not only survive within the K-pop system but dominate the global pop charts on their own terms. The worldwide success of Stray Kids was never a product of corporate luck or random viral algorithms. It was the deliberate, mathematical outcome of 8 distinct keys selected by a single leader, turning together in perfect synchronization to unlock the global stage.